What's up, everybody? It is Casey with Two Worlds Podcast, and with me, as always, it's the bacon to my eggs. It's Jake. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. What made you make me bacon over eggs?
I have no idea. It was just bacon always comes first. So I was like, it'd be weird to be like the eggs to my bacon. Everyone would be like, what?
I mean, I like eggs
Sound
a
right.
lot, so I wouldn't be offended. But
I like both. They're a perfect combo.
just like us.
Yeah, we just need like a third person to be the toast that doesn't get used as much, but like, you can put the bacon on there and soak up the egg juices. Because I'm over easy for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the best way to have you.
Speaking of over easy eggs, I have a funny but gross story. One time, I made breakfast for me and my lady, and I made myself an over easy egg burrito. I thought they were gonna be like more over medium, so it's a little like not as runny. And I bite down into the burrito, and it just
That's awesome.
yeah, it was pretty
like all
funny.
over her, or
No, it was just like all
Okay.
like on the table and on the plate. Just it's like for those that are listening and didn't see my hand gesture, it was very much like when you pop a zit.
Yeah, but was it tasty?
Oh, it was really good. It's eggs.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we kick off with the news, we had a couple of YouTube comments last week regarding couples in comics. So I thought that I would take the time to read those since you guys took the time to let us know. So the first one comes from Eric. Hello, Eric. And he says, my favorite comic couples are Donna Troy and Terry Long in New Teen Titans, Damian Wayne and Flatline in the current Robin run, Marco and Alana in Saga, and Peter Parker and Mary Jane, specifically the PS4 version and also most comic versions. So thank you, Eric.
Yeah, I like that he made sure not to be like the movie version of Mary Jane from, the Tobey Maguire stuff, because I swear, it's at the time I was like, oh, she's not that bad. But looking back, I'm like, she is that bad.
It's not Kirsten Dunst's fault.
No, it's 100% the writing. Yeah. No, like nothing. I have nothing bad to say, and we'll talk about her later on. Nothing bad to say about her. It's just bad writing.
And then the other one is from Preston. Hello, Preston. And he says, couples I've enjoyed in comics recently are Constantine and Oliver from Constantine the Hellblazer, Moon Knight and Tigra. He says, not really a couple, but I super ship them.
Yeah, you guys are on that same ship together.
I know. Then he says, I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but the two main girls in Rain. And then the best couple in comics recently is hands down Ivy and Harley and the Harley Quinn Eat, Bang, Kill tour. That whole run was so well done, and I can't wait for season 3 on HBO. Also, quick shout out to my favorite MCU couple that is/was Tony Stark and Pepper Potts. Really loved the chemistry and writing they had there. Hashtag RIP 3000. So thank you, Preston and Eric. We appreciate you guys letting us know.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
But now we will kick into the news. Not a great news week, admittedly.
Yeah, not really, but we got a good chunk of comics to talk about, so I think it's going to even out pretty well.
Yeah. So first off, Fred Hetchinger has been reportedly cast as Chameleon in Kraven the Hunter. I'm not familiar with Fred.
Not at all. Maybe he's got one of those faces just kind of like matches, everyone else's, just kind of blends in. Right.
Or maybe he just really looks like a chameleon.
Yeah. That too. I think we would recognize him if, that was the case though.
Yeah.
So Tom Taylor is bringing back Deceased. It's they say it's the end. So maybe it's gonna be the last one. I mean, if it depends on how much money it makes, because how many Marvel zombies did we get that were supposed to be the last one and it keeps coming back? So I think this is gonna be the same way. If they're like just Tom Taylor's just like, got the $100 bills just stacking up. They're like, oh well, we'll do another one, I guess. But
it's like, but this time it's these characters as zombies.
Yeah. It's like this time they're coming back to life and they're nice, I guess. I don't know. I'm running out of ideas.
I've not read any of those, but truly it is a big hit, at least at Comic HQ. The people
Yeah.
really like it. So
I mean, I'm gonna get into it. Like, maybe it gets better as you get along because like you get more time with the characters. But like with Dark Ages, which is like a problem I have with these type of stories, you don't really care that much about his. For me, I don't really care that much about his version of these characters because it's like it takes place in the future. So it's like, oh, I haven't spent time with these characters, and he starts killing them off. I'm like, okay, am I supposed? You haven't given me a reason to care except for the stuff that's in a different continuity than this. And so that's just always irks me with the out of continuity, kill fests basically.
yeah, I feel you. But I'm sure that there are a chunk of listeners that are like, oh yes, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, good for you. Like, it's better to be excited about it than be a curmudgeon like me.
Yeah. So Vault Comics has announced that they will also be joining Lunar Distribution. They're leaving Diamond. And that is going to I know that no, it is both. It's both comics and graphic novels are available to order through Lunar, beginning with titles shipping in May of this year. So, am I excited? Yeah. I mean, Lunar is great and Diamond sucks. So any new distributor or publisher moving over to this distributor is a good thing.
As a like shop owner, then like I always want to ask your opinion like this way. Is like Vault a big one, like a not like like tier wise? I know it's like DC Marvel Image levels, but like for you guys, is it like still like will this be like better or is it going to be noticeable for you?
No, I mean the amount that I order will be the same. It's like that We Don't Kill Spiders book that I read, that was an imprint of Vault, but I did order all the first issues of like their new series that were coming out that I think I asked you if you had any interest in like several episodes back, just to try them out and see if people were into it. So I'm trying Vault Comics.
Yeah.
If you're listening. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, right on, man. Yeah, I wasn't sure because like, I mean, I know you're not putting the numbers that you do for like Amazing Spider-Man for like Vault Comics. So like the amount that they can, Diamond could mess up is like way less. So I wasn't sure how that would be,
The thing is like Diamond has been, apart from the Saga debacle a few weeks back, they've been fine lately because I literally just get like one small box from them now. And it's like, you guys really shouldn't be able to F that up. But
yeah. I mean, they find a way.
They do find a way.
So I don't know if we had this before, but Batgirl has a release date and that's going to be December 2022. So, I mean, that's pretty exciting. I'm hoping this is going to be good. Like, I have vibes of like thinking, because like the cast is pretty solid. I don't know the girl that plays Batgirl. I mean, I don't know like what she's really from, but everyone else in it is pretty awesome. But then like at times I look at that costume and I know it's like not in an action costume, so it's different, but has me like CW vibes and like that has me worried. So I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah, it's hard for me to not be excited for it. I like that character a lot, and just the fact that it's not CW is what is keeping my hopes alive there.
And plus, at the very, very bare minimum, we got J.K. Simmons back.
Yeah.
And it's like, at his worst, he's
and
like
Keaton.
yelling. Yeah. But at J.K. Simmons' worst, he's like winning an Oscar for yelling at a kid to play drums better. And at his best, he's J. Jonah Jameson. So it's like, if we get some, like that's his range. It's amazing. So it's going to be good.
Right. I forgot about that movie. What was the drum movie?
I think it's Whiplash. I've not seen
Whiplash.
it.
That, yeah. Oh, it was fantastic. It was
That's why I hear it.
fantastic.
I just don't like I think his name's Miles Teller. He played
Yeah,
Reed Richards. Yeah, I don't like him.
that's the
I
only
mean
thing I've seen him in.
I mean, he was in a couple other movies, one where he played like an alcoholic and other stuff. I was like, I don't know. You're just I get why J.K. Simmons is yelling at you, sir. I get it.
Okay, so The Mandalorian season 1 is being adapted into an 8-issue comic series. I think that if anybody has interest in this, like if you're gonna read it, pre-order 2 copies. And if you
Really?
have no interest in it, still get a copy.
Oh, because Grogu, right?
First appearances out the wazoo in this series, man. I mean, who knows which issue there? I mean, I guess if they're actually following like issue 1 is all of the first episode, then you'll know who shows up when. But that's one I really think you want to pay attention to and get copies of. In like, I'm thinking long game, even 5-10 years, the first comic appearance of Grogu is gonna be worth some money.
Yeah. It'd be really funny if like when he gets older though, they're just like, oh yeah, he's just Jar Jar Binks. Like he is the force egg of Jar Jar Binks, and like he hatches, he just turns back into Jar Jar Binks. Everyone's just like, why? But they have Grogu tattoos. You know, they're just screaming at John Favreau.
But yeah, like the people, like one of my friends who brought this to my attention is like very excited for it. I'm pretty whatever on it. I'm still gonna pick it up just to have those appearances, but you know, it could be cool. I like the show a lot. I'm sure the comic adaptation will be just fine.
Yeah, are you kind of like, even though you are getting it mostly for the first appearances, are you kind of excited to see like a moderate? Because I'm assuming they're not just going to do shot for shot. Are you excited to see kind of like a moderate, you know, that's like a slightly different take? I'm assuming, or you just don't really care that much.
I don't really care that much. I mean, nothing really needs to be changed, really. The
Yeah,
show did everything fine. I'm surprised it took them this long to do an adaptation because every new movie that they've done through Disney has had an adaptation. So, you know, I'm kind of surprised there wasn't like a Bad Batch comic or a new Clone Wars comic. So
I bet like Disney, you know, the old mouse was milking the Star Wars cow, and he kind of like looks in the barn, like, oh hey, there's another one. Oh great, he goes over to that one now. He's gonna milk that one for all it's worth.
right. I still think I think this will be one of the most ordered comics of 2022. You heard it
Right
here
on.
first in February. I think by the end of the year, this will easily be in the top 10, if not the top 5.
When it comes out, you're gonna be on here crying, be like, I've ordered 10,000 copies and I've sold 5.
5. That's funny.
All to the same guy. It just keeps telling me Grogu's first appearance. Okay, so I thought this would be a fun. Actually, I'll go with the Pokemon news first.
Oh,
There's a
really?
new.
I thought that'd be last. I thought
Okay,
that was like the big news of the week. Right
we don't
there.
really have big news of the week. That's the
That's
like
what
I was
I'm
just gonna.
saying.
Yeah, with the Kirsten Dunst, I was just like, oh, we can have a discussion about it because I had little talking points also. But we'll go with that. Kirsten Dunst was in an interview, and she was talking about how she wants to return as MJ because like she sees how much they're getting paid. She's like, oh, I need that money. But yeah, and so I was thinking to myself, I'm like, how could they do that and make it so like she's actually has something to do? That was so I was in the shower because I read that right before I got in the shower, and I was thinking about like, how could they do that? And I was like, you can't like do the whole cool thing like you could with Emma Stone, where she's Spider Gwen, and like you have the really nice moment of Andrew's like, oh my Gwen's still that thing. You couldn't do that, but here's my idea. I'm gonna pitch it to you.
I've got one too. I'm curious if it's the same.
Maybe we're on the same wavelength. Do a Spider Girl movie.
Okay, we're not on the same
Okay,
wavelength.
because then you can have her be like the mom character and Toby, be the retired Spider-Man character, and then have May be the main character. And you have these two, basically. And I've never read the Spider-Girl comics, but you have MJ be like the more supportive one about this, and Peter be the overprotective one because he's lost an arm in that series. So he's like, don't do this crap. And then MJ's like, there needs to be a spider person out there, type of thing.
I am thinking way, way less involvement. And the first thing that comes to my mind is they're doing the next one with Tom Holland, and Peter and MJ are like starting to connect again, and like she finds out somehow that she forgot all about Peter and they had all this stuff together, and she's like so confused, and I just don't know if I can be with you, sort of thing. And then for some reason we get Tobey Maguire's MJ, and she's just like giving her advice and saying what like Peter means to her in that universe, and like, maybe you should be more open to it or something like that. You know what I mean?
She's like, maybe you should marry an astronaut.
She's like, don't become a stage actress.
Yeah, she's like, MIT is pretty cool, but have you thought about Broadway?
Anyway, that's where my mind goes. That way, Kirsten Dunst can have her 5 minutes on screen where she talks to the other MJ about needing to be there to support, Spider-Man or whatever. And there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just, maybe just call me an old sentimental fart, but I kind of I want more for her and Toby, because I really enjoyed seeing Toby come back. So it would be cool with like better writing, like we complained about earlier in this podcast, having both of them with better writing and a better script where they're both together, and like we could see like, oh, this is what happened in all this time, leading from the last movie we got. They're married now, they have a kid, and
hey,
all that stuff.
I'm all about that. I would take a Spider-Man 4, just not what they were gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay, so my big news point, and I'm sure that you saw this, Casey, but
I did. You just beat me to it.
Yeah. Chip Zdarsky and Jorge Jimenez are going to be the new creative team on Batman once Williamson wraps up this whole like Batman Inc. story that's going on. I am thrilled. Like, you can't ask for like a better creative team than those two. So we'll see. Chip seems excited for it. He said that he's just writing stories that make him smile while he's writing it, and he hopes that everybody enjoys it too. But to see Jimenez back on it is going to be cool, even though I love the current creative team. If they're only doing their one story, more power to them.
Yeah,
this is going to be a great replacement.
I'll try to find the tweet really quick as we talk, because that's one thing Williamson was talking about, because he's very excited for Zdarsky, and he was talking about how this was always the plan, basically, that he wasn't, it wasn't like, oh, what, that type of thing. It was just like, oh yeah, this is what the plan was, this is how how I wanted it, blah blah blah. But I don't really think anyone wants to hear me scrolling, so I'm not finding it. But maybe I'll get to it. But yes, I mean, it's cool. I'm happy for Zdarsky. I'm like, it's so cool. It's crazy and cool to me that like 4 years ago, probably maybe 3, it was like Zdarsky was just the artist on Sex Kernels, and he got a job working Howard.
Yeah, that's true.
And then now it's like, oh yeah, you get to write whatever you want, it seems.
And dude, like, not like, I know whatever you want, you just said that, but truly Batman and Daredevil at the same time, huge titles.
Yeah, I'm not finding the tweet, but yeah, basically he was just saying this was always the plan. I had this story to tell, and that's it. He's like, I'm basically writing all of the other DC books, I can't be doing Batman also, I mean, he didn't say that, but let's be honest, that's what's happening.
Yeah. Plus, Zdarsky knows how to get the best writers or best artists in comic books to work with him.
I mean, the only person that does it better is Tom King. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, don't know how Tom gets just the best. It's stupid.
Doc Shaner, Mitch Gerards, Greg Smallwood. I mean, he's got 3 guys that are incredible S tier artists at any time to work with him.
Dude,
and Clayman.
Like, look at his Batman run. It was just like every single issue was just like, oh yeah, we got a new. Like, the only time it was bad was whenever it was John Romita Jr. He had him for like 2 issues, and I was like, oh, but
yeah.
And like, even him, he's beloved by the people that love him.
True.
So like, it's not even like, I think Liefeld fans are even like with Liefeld fans, like, okay, I get it, this is bad, but there's some of it that's good. With Romita Jr. fans are like, no, this is just good. That's it. I just don't get it. That's the thing.
I don't either.
Okay, but we got a new Pokemon game that was announced for late 2022. It's called Scarlet and Violet. It's being touted as an open world adventure released on the Switch. I'm going to go with the fire one after looking at them. Did you look at all the different ones?
Oh, of course I did.
Okay. And so yeah, Coco is the one I'm getting.
I think it's Fue Coco.
I mean, I'm going to change his name to like Dan
Pepper, because he looks like a pepper.
I'm going to probably change it to like fire alligator.
Here's what I'm worried about. So the grass cat, my initial thought is that's who I'm going with. And I almost always go with the grass starter anyway. And this one's called like Sprigatito or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm worried that they're going to furry-tize it by the final evolution.
Yeah, like they did Blaziken.
Yeah.
Oof,
it's like
rough.
One of the comments I saw under the announcement tweet was, please keep it on all fours. Please keep it on all fours. Because they just don't want more furry fuel.
That is one thing. Like, I remember X and Y was bad about this, and like they just do this a lot anymore, where it's like, we're gonna make these things more humanoid as it goes along. It's like, this isn't Digimon. This is Pokemon. Leave them animals. It's weird, capturing a human, make them do my bidding.
Right. I know. That being said, I was completely caught off guard. When everyone was like, there's going to be a big announcement at the end, everyone's thoughts was they're announcing Detective Pikachu 2.
Yeah.
Not Gen 9. Like, that was huge. And the trailer that they dropped was pretty awesome, in my opinion.
I didn't see it. I just saw the announcement. So
yeah, I mean, it's just like a security guard going through stuff, and he sees a scarlet and violet light through the door, and he opens it up, and they do the big announcement and show the starters. But
right on.
It's cool though. I liked it a lot, and I think so. With Legends Arceus, which is the newest one that came out last month, it's mostly open world, but there's loading screens between the zones. I'm thinking that this one is like totally open world, which would be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I gotta say this. So many Pokemon fans are still finding something to complain about with the trailer. They're like,
you're not a fan of something if you're not complaining about it, though.
Okay, I get that, but I just want to tell these people to shut up and just wait for it to come out.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just like, these are the worst starters I've ever seen. And it's like, okay, I don't think they're the worst by far.
No, I mean, the last ones that I didn't play where I had like the seal and, maybe not the last ones, maybe it was the ones before last, but there was like one that was a seal and a bunch of other ones. Those ones were god awful looking.
See, and I think those were better than Sword and Shield.
I don't know if I remember Sword and Shield.
I think those were the worst ones.
Really?
Even though I still, I enjoyed it. But I mean, it is what it is. Everyone can have their opinion on it. I'm just like,
And
You
you know
guys
what's
are
funny though
complaining.
about complaining about the starters? It's like, well, guess what? There's at least 150 more Pokemon out there that you can just use instead of the starter.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, they're gonna evolve.
Yeah.
It's whatever. I just gotta laugh at the fandom. They're
Yeah.
like we miss the days of Diamond and Pearl, so they remake Diamond and Pearl. They're like, no, no, we want Diamond and Pearl, but open world. So they give us Arceus. Like, no, we want different starters. It's like, Jesus, can you guys just enjoy it? Just enjoy it for once in your lives.
I mean, it could be worse though. Speaking of fandoms, it's like I not really active, but like it's more like stalker active where like I don't type anything out, but like I pay attention like the different kaiju fans on Twitter. And like every once in a while there'll be like one of them that has a crappy take, but then like all like 90% of the times I was like, oh, this kaiju fandom is just so toxic. Oh, it's so toxic. That's all they talk. It's like I want to see the toxic crap. Like I want to see that and laugh at it. And yet all it is you guys going, I hate this fandom. They're just so toxic all the time. I just hate it. And then someone else comments like, I know what you mean. It's just so toxic. It's just toxic. We're worse than Star Wars. And it's like, you want to be. You want to be that bad. but it's not.
You should comment and be like, actually, just Hedora is toxic.
Ha. There's like, oh,
Get
this
it,
is the
get
type
it,
of
because
they're
he's
like
a smog monster.
they're like this is the type of gatekeeping that I don't appreciate. It's so toxic.
You sounded a lot like Muscle Man.
I thought so too. I was hearing over my thing. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
You know who else is pretty toxic? My
My
mom.
mom.
I love that show.
Me too, man.
Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, very excited for Pokemon. You've skipped the last couple. Is this one that you're gonna play?
Maybe it's just I don't know. It's weird. It's a lot more fun for me personally when they were on the DS to play the Pokemon games. Playing them on the Switch, it's just I don't know. It's just weird to me. I'm like I don't want to play Pokemon on a console. What is this? The
Man,
1900s?
and I'm like, please, more. It's great.
Yeah. It's like Pokemon should be played on a handheld device on a long car ride.
But the Switch is that, dude. That's why it's called the Switch.
I don't like that though. It's different and it's weird, and I'm a gatekeeper.
Fair enough.
No, I mean, like, there's a very good chance. It is one of those things where it's like, I don't play the Switch enough as it is. I have a feeling it would be very much like Animal Crossing, where like I would love it for the first like 36 hours. And then as soon as I stop playing and sleep, I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm going to do other things with my life. And my Pokemon will slowly age and die.
I mean, that's any game though.
I mean, there's plenty of games where I come back to them though. And it's like a lot of the Switch games, I have trouble coming back to them. Like I obsess over them, and then it's just like, well, bye. Like I'm also never gonna play Animal Crossing again because I know my villagers are just like so upset with me. Like it's been years.
Right. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in to the Pokecast. We'll see you next week. Anyway, yeah, that's all for the news. So I guess we'll take our ad break and come back and talk some comics. So we'll be right back. Man, I don't have much to say. I don't have any fun stories from work this week.
Yeah. I can tell you a disgusting poop story if you want. It happened last night.
I guess if that's what our YouTube has come to, then
Yeah.
go for it.
So I was driving from seeing because like I'm running on 3 hours of sleep right now. Just
Why?
because I didn't get home until like after midnight. I was making good time though. and I was driving from the girlfriend's, and she had bought barbecue, and I ate that, and I was like, I got to Effingham, though I had to pee so bad, so I pulled off at that gas station that's like right across the street from Panda Express. It's like,
I sure do.
yeah, I'm talking. I'm blanking
Yeah.
on the name of it now, but so I go in there, and there's a dude at one of the urinals, and I'm not gonna pee next to another dude. That's like really weird, and I also have stage fright. So I go into the stall and I start peeing. As I start peeing, my bowels are just like, you gotta poop too, and like it was so bad that if I like tried to pee anymore, I was just gonna crap my pants. Like that's how bad. And I didn't have to go until like that moment.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh no. And so like I pull my pants down, and I'm hovering because I don't want to, but then it just starts shooting out, and it's like just splattering everywhere because it's like it's like a much much higher. So I'm like, oh my god. So I wiped the seat down, then I just sat down on it, so it's like, the splatter shots were going everywhere.
Oh man.
And so, and like the funniest part too, like as this is going on, I look at the door on the stall, and it has a swastika and an SS. Then right underneath it says "fuck white people."
Oh geez.
But yeah, so I got like it was a good 5 minutes of just water coming out of me.
Just from some barbecue?
I mean, I'm assuming it was pretty rough, and then so I wiped, and then I was just like, oh my god, I just gotta get home. And so then like I ended up getting home at like 12:30, and after that, because that took me off a good bit from my schedule. I was making good time before that, and then I got home and went to sleep, and I woke up early so I could go to the gym, so I wouldn't have to worry about working out, because I had all the comics to read too. So I was just like, okay, yeah. So yeah, that was.
So you're a sleepy boy.
I am a sleepy boy who made mud pies last night in Effingham. Speaking of mud pies, really quick, have you seen a show? I don't think you have, but have you seen a show called I Think You Should Leave?
No, you told me to watch it before, and then I forgot about it immediately.
Yeah, it's very, very stupid. But if everyone's listening, they're like, I really like stupid humor, check out. There's this one time where they're at this party, like it's all skits, and so they're at this party, and this dude, like this guy gets a gift, and everyone's like, the gift receipt's in there, and so the guy's like, I got this guy a bad gift, and he's like, the gift receipt's in there, and he's like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. All the other ones he was saying like, oh, I don't need it. And so then he's like, so you gonna keep the gift? And he's like, what? Yeah, man, I'm gonna keep it. He's like, okay, so like you don't mind if I destroy the gift receipt, if I take the gift receipt, then like gets really awkward with it. And so then he's like, no, dude, just go ahead. And he's like, okay, takes it. He's like, so if I eat this gift receipt, you're gonna be okay with it then, right? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. So then he eats it, and then he gets really sick, and he's just like, I mean, I'm just assuming you're probably dropping some mud pies and you didn't wash your hands. And he's like, what? And so then this other person was like, okay, I have this gift receipt that's untouched by him. If I eat it and I get sick, then, and he's touched it, or no, it's like, and he hasn't touched it yet. So it's like, if I eat it, then that means, and I don't get sick, that you have shit all over your hands. It's really stupid, like I said, but I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I mean, everything you told me about it is, I think that's one that I have to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say watch Auntie Donna first, though. I think you're gonna like that one more. That's the one I sent you. The Everything's a Drum.
Yeah, that one was good.
Yeah, that's like, there's an Ellen DeGeneres sketch on that. That's just like, you're just like, how long are they doing this for? Like, oh, they're okay. But yeah.
All right. Welcome back, folks. If you want to hear Casey tell a fun poop story, then you can do that over on our YouTube channel.
I'll be honest, it wasn't fun when it happened.
That is Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube. But anyway, Casey, now we will talk about the comics that we read this week. I will let you tell the folks and myself which ones that you read.
Okay, I read Dark Ages number 5, Shang Chi number 9, Teen Titans Academy number 12, The Amazing Spider-Man number 90, and Ghost Rider number 1, Aquaman number 1, DC versus Vampires 5 of 12, Blue and Gold 6 of 8, Robin 11, Silk number 2, Task Force Z number 5, Saga 56, Action Comics 1040. And
Okay.
that's all.
I read Catwoman 40, Hardware number 4, Task Force Z number 5, Blue and Gold 6, DC versus Vampires 5, Aquamen number 1, Action Comics 1040, Robin number 11, Silk number 2, and Saga 56.
All right. So I think I have a little bit more than you. So I'm going to start with Old Dark Ages. And this is by Tom Taylor with Ivan Coelho on the art. And yeah, like I was saying earlier, this book, it's like the murder book where to me, it's hard to really be overly invested in these characters, even though we already care about them because we've been reading them for years, but with them being like aged up too, it's just like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to care that you killed these guys that I have no connection with. Okay. But actually no one died this time, but we did get to see a little bit of action, and a new character shows up, and it's pretty neat, but I don't know. It's odd. I don't know how they're going to keep going with this book after Tom Taylor's away from Marvel, and if they're going to try to do anything else with it. I don't know, but yeah, I'd check it out after he left for like maybe one issue, but I mean, I don't know. It's not really hitting for me right now. So I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10.
I mean, is it like done soon?
I think it's like an 8 issue, isn't it?
I don't know.
You're a comic shop owner. You should know these things.
I don't know when every series ends.
You should know when every series starts, every series ends, and all of the creative teams.
Okay. Well, anyway. Catwoman number 40. And this was done by, if I can find it, it's written by Teeny Howard and art by Nico Leon. The art is great. Otherwise, I hated this book, and I'm not going to be reading it anymore. No. Selena Kyle is written so poorly compared to when Rambi was doing it. And really, I mean, the art is so good that I want to keep reading it, but it's trash.
I have a question, and that you might not know because you're not a trained artist either, but with like the art in this book, I mean, I think this would fall on the colorist, but there's like the colorist that does that, and then others that they do in other books too, where like it'll actually make stuff look shiny. Like, how the heck do they do that? Because it looks great, and it always makes things look more realistic when they're going for the realistic approach to things.
I don't know. They just know how to use the color white in appropriate spots.
I guess so.
Really.
it'd be funny if it's like, no, that's actual real leather. Touch it.
Right. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10, by the way.
Okay. So Shang-Chi, this is by Jean Lewin Yang and Marcus To on the art. And I'll be honest, I'm not really feeling this new arc too much. We get Shang fighting some monsters in it with his siblings. And then there's this douchebag that robbed an old man, and these monsters try to eat him. Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't wasn't hitting for me like I wanted it to, but it is what it is. I'm probably gonna give it a 6 out of 10. It was still fine, but it's just like I want like this series was so good, and now it's kind of like middling, you know?
You gonna stick it out?
Yeah, I mean, if it was like a nut, like I mean, heck, I'm still reading Teen Titans Academy, so of course I'm gonna be sticking out. Jean Lin Yang is really good.
Yeah. All right. Next for me is Hardware #4. It's written by Brandon Thomas, with art by Dennis Cowan, Bill Sienkiewicz, and Chris Sotomayor on the art. It's a good book. For once, Curtis is kind of a few steps ahead of the bad guys, which was a nice little twist that he kept from everybody, including the readers, until the time came to reveal it. But it's really good. And next, he's finally going to go up against some other, well, I won't say other superpowered beings, but he's going up against superpowered beings. So should be pretty cool. I like this book. It feels like it's been out for more than 4 issues, but I guess it hasn't. But man, the one when they come out, they're really good. And I would highly suggest checking this out in trade whenever that comes out if you guys aren't reading it right now. But I'm going to give it an 8.
Nice. All right. So next up, it's the aforementioned Teen Titans Academy #12 by Tim Sheridan and Alex Sinclair on the art. So we get to see Red X, who he is. And I'm not gonna lie. So we've had big reveals in comics before. We had, like who Red Hulk really was. Like
Winter Soldier,
Winter Soldier, just all these, and
Red Hood.
Like we get these things, and they're like, you're just like, oh yeah, I recognize who this guy is. So Red X, spoiler alert, is Brick. And you know what my reaction was to this?
Who's Brick? Yeah. Dude, so I flipped through it because I remembered when you were like, I bet the covers are swapped and we get the reveal this time. So I'm like, I'm gonna see who it is. I'm like, it's like Justice League when Lex takes off Wally's thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I have no idea who this is. That's who I was.
Yeah, like this is one of those things, and we talked about this in length of this series, and this is the main problem with this series is like, I think Tim Sheridan was just spreading himself too thin with all the characters that he was like, because like he clearly likes all of these new characters that he added to this thing, but at the same time it's like, okay, but you're not actually developing them any at all. So like when this reveal happened, like I was just like, okay, who's this guy?
Yeah. It was a real bummer. Like, as much as you and I like the Shazam like mini series, should have done a Brick once that we gave a crap whenever it was revealed that he was Red X.
Yeah, and then we get to see this Red X, and apparently Brick is the 4th Red X because Nightwing was one, this other Red X was one, and then Brick was one, but there's a 4th Red X. And so we're gonna probably hear more about that. Maybe Brick dies, probably not though. But yeah, Brick thinks Dick is his dad, but then it turns out other Red X was lying. And yeah, it was kind of lame. They just like, I don't know if it was the editorial's fault that Tim Sheridan just kind of like had this reveal without like really, I mean, like it was build up in the sense that it was like, who is he? And then, but doesn't build up the other characters so that we care.
I mean, it could have had, I'm not going to say the same impact as like a Red Hood Winter Soldier, but it could have had a much bigger impact if they'd have done it right.
Yeah, it could have been such
like
a big
advertisements for a couple months leading up, like who's Red X? Whatever.
Yeah. And just had, I mean, I don't know. You don't even need all the pomp and circumstance. Just be like, oh yeah, we're gonna randomly throw Red X in here every couple issues. We're not gonna make the whole series be about Red X. We're gonna have him just be popping in, doing little turd head things, and then we'll have all these different kids, and then as the series ramps up, it's gonna be more and more like, okay, we need to figure out who this Red X turd is, and trying to figure out that way versus just being like, he's doing a bunch of crap. There's lots of poop talk today. But for me, it's gonna be a probably 4 out of 10. I really like it. Was just kind of a letdown, and for like what this was like the pinnacle issue that they've been building up to, it's just left with going like, oh, okay.
A full year, by the way, a year's build up.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I just have our mutuals left.
Oh, okay. So Amazing Spider-Man number 90, and this is with Pat Gleason and Mark Bagley. Same problems I had last time. I'm not a Mark Bagley fan, and so that just kind of annoys me. But yeah, Spider-Man's still fighting the Goblin Queen, and then we get Ben and Pete gonna team up. But so I noticed this pretty early on. I'm gonna try to get it so it's in the camera. So you have Pete saying, "Look at you, all amazing again. Great for you, buddy." And then Ben goes, "Look, Ben, I talked to Janine or whatever. She's worried. We're worried. Then you know why time is a factor. I have to go right now. Surprisingly, yeah. Still want some help? Depends." They switched. They got the bubbles wrong. It's just like, this is an easy thing, editor. Who, I'm going to find your name. I'm going to call you out for being bad at your job. Assistant editor Lindsay Kohick and Kaden McGahee, or Nick Lowe, who's probably the head editor on this, or CB Sabalski, editor in chief.
The great Shogun himself.
Yeah, what are y'all doing? Actually, CB is all of them. He has multiple pen names.
Dude, that wouldn't surprise me at all. That's hilarious.
So, I mean, all in all, though, Mark Bagley just doesn't do it for me. That's that's what it boils down to. The story's fine.
So how is all this Goblin Queen stuff?
It's kind of okay. It's just like
really, is it somebody big, or do you know?
It was Ben Reilly's therapist.
Okay.
But it's one of those things, honestly, this whole Goblin Queen stuff, what they should have done with the Spider-Man book, instead of doing a weekly book, should have done monthly, extra size, like, do like a $6 book. Do that monthly, be so much better. You feel like you're getting more than like, oh yeah, I'm seeing like similar stuff happening in all of these issues, So like that's the main downside of this. Like when it's collected, it's gonna be a mess because it seems like they're just doing like about 2 issues from each issue are all overlap, which is like, it's weekly. We don't need that. So, So yeah, it's
but
like
they need that money.
I guess that's why I'm saying just like do $6 to $8 thick book. Cut out the weekly crap. It's better. It'd be better this way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's probably gonna be a 6 for me. It's just the art's not great, and the story itself is just kind of lacking. And then lastly, but honestly, not at all leastly, Ghost Rider number 1. And Benjamin Percy is writing it. I'm trying to find the artist really quick. I'm trying just to bring it along. Okay, so Corey Smith is on the art, and Jake, I think you should read this as a horror comic boy, basically, because you're getting more into horror comics. This does not read like a Marvel comic. This reads like a horror comic. There's lots like crazy imagery. Johnny Blaze doesn't know where the heck he's at. Like he thinks he's a regular guy, married, has kids. And then like he just keeps seeing like these random demons and like all this crazy crap, throughout. And so then it's like, oh, it's kind of revealed you're the Ghost Rider, buddy. Spoiler alert, Johnny Blaze is Ghost Rider. And so yeah, it's just really cool. Like I was like, first off, I just like Ghost Rider. I think he's really cool in general. If he's on a motorbike, don't put him in a car. He's a rider. But yeah, like I said, I really, really think it's cool. This book was really, really good. I'm going to give it a 8.5 out of 10. I really, really liked it, and I think you should read it because I think just because, like I said, you're getting more and more
Where's the
horror
other
stuff.
0.5 then?
What do you mean?
Why not a 10 or a 9?
I mean, it's not perfect. It kind of drags a little bit, I'd say, but it is just one of those things where it's pretty captivating as I read it, and it does like when I was reading it, you have like a sense of dread because it's just like this guy, even though he's Johnny Blaze, he's going to turn into Ghost Rider. He's still like trying to live this life and he's seen all these things. It's just like if this wasn't, you were like a blind person that didn't know the hell a Ghost Rider was, and you're just like, something's crazy off about this guy. He's gonna murder people, like it's just very well done. And like I said, I think you'd like it, or any horror book fan would like it. And any Ghost Rider fan, like of course you're reading it. So I'm at 8.5 because of that.
Okay. I will check it out.
You get back to him like, this is stupid. There was 0 ghosts and 0 writing in it. Okay, man. What order do you want to do these books in?
All right, let's do Blue and Gold, Aquaman, DC Vampires, Robin, Silk, Task Force, and then Action and Saga.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, so we've got Blue and Gold number 6. It's written by Dan Jurgens and pencils by Ryan Sook. Yeah, so actually I liked this one a little bit more than the last couple issues. It was tailing off for me, but I feel like I'm kind of back in it with this one. I thought it was goofy, but fun.
I really liked it. My main problem with this, though, and the only reason why I'm going to give it the score I'm giving it, because like there's not much to hate about this, but it feels like the last issue, and it's like there's 2 more. Like this is how you end it. This is a perfect ending. Like, what are you doing? Unless there's something like really cool that wraps everything up better than this. But this is like, yeah, you don't need more. For a mini series. If this was a continue, that was just like the first arc, whatever. But with it being a mini series, I don't know. But yeah,
the only thing that made me laugh was like, and not in a good way, is when Ted's like, okay, I'm sorry, bro, but there's no other way. I guess I'm gonna try to kill you. And we all know that he wouldn't when it came down to it. But just the fact that like they went there, I thought was pretty stupid.
Yeah. And the other thing that I don't like, and this has been my main problem with this series as a whole, is like we got those 2 girls that are, I mean, at least we don't have like the whole like pop-up things of like, but the 2 girls that are there, I'm like, they're a little annoying.
Yeah. But I'll say this though, the cover is so cool.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, the art in general in this was amazing.
Yeah.
Like for the most part, the art in this whole series has been outstanding.
How do you feel about that last page reveal of who's gonna join the adventure?
I'm excited, but it's just like, boy, wish we had more than 2 issues of that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Maybe we'll get Blue and Gold and some more blue.
I'd be fine with that.
I would too.
So yeah, I'm probably like 7.5 on that one.
See, no, I'd say I'm at about a 9. Like I really liked it. The only thing that bothers me is like this feels like an ending, and you're not ending it, so I don't know what the heck you're doing.
Yeah.
All right, so next up is Aquamen, and I know it's written by Chuck Brown, but please stop calling me Charlie. And I gotta find the rest of the people though. Okay. And then we got Brandon Thomas and then Sammy Basri on the art, and the art is outstanding, so good. The story itself I was kind of so with. What do you think of it?
I thought it was honestly pretty lame up until like kind of the end where Black Manta's like doing an autopsy sort of thing. But I agree, the art's incredible. I especially love that like big water dragon.
Yeah.
Looked super cool. But I feel like Jackson's going backwards with his attitude, man. Like I know he went through some stuff and like his mom is in a coma, but like even the parts where he's talking with Aquaman, it still wasn't quite that level of fun as it was in the future state stuff.
Yeah, see, I think what I think is gonna happen, and I could be wrong, but I think they're gonna like with I mean prior to he was like, oh, I'm not very sure of myself, in the one series, but he still was a hero, whatever. And then in that other series, it was just him like almost losing his mom. All the crap hit the fan for him. More crap talk, all the crap hit the fan. And then in this one, this is going to be him becoming the hero, basically. Like it's just like, oh yeah, I don't know, I'm not really sure of myself. Aquaman's want me to be better, but then like, oh, when I was trying to be Aquaman, plummet. And then now it's like, oh, you're getting built back up, you're gonna be better. We really honestly didn't need to read the becoming. That's what I'm like getting from this, other than knowing that his mom got hurt, because there wasn't much that happened in that, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
like we were both like, oh, it's gonna affect this so much, but it doesn't seem to. So I think he's gonna get better as this series goes. This is gonna be the big Jackson series, basically. That's my theory.
Here's what's gonna happen. The next issue needs to be good. Because if it's not, I'm gonna drop it. But then the next issue that I don't read, you're gonna say it was the best thing ever, and then it's gonna be a bomb series that I'll be like, wish I'd have stuck with it like I did with Flash.
But then like 10 series in, or issues in, they'll go to Gym World and you'll pick that one up. I'm like, dude, this was good.
I know, right? I know. But I need that second one to be better, or I am not sticking with it. It's just not worth it for more angsty Jackson.
Yeah, no, that is the main problem. But we will agree on this. Because I wasn't super hot on the way Black Manta was written either. I thought he was kind of weak, but Aquaman, that's how I like my Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
So
he was the best part.
Yep. I mean, the art was the best part. Aquaman was the second best.
Yeah.
So where are you at with this one?
About a 5.
That's exactly where I was thinking with it. It's like the art's really good. Aquaman's really cool. Everything else is just kind of hit and miss. The story itself is kind of interesting with these weird people just being like, going crazy over crap and then dying. That's interesting, but it's not interesting enough for angsty crap,
Yep. All right. Which brings us to DC versus Vampires number 5. Sorry, there's a bunch of stuff in between. It's written by James Tynion and Matthew Rosenberg, with art by Otto Schmidt and Simone DeMeo, which, by the way, they did not put DeMeo on the cover, which is a travesty because Otto Schmidt's amazing, but Simone's art was, in my opinion, even better. I mean, there are just some pages like this Batgirl page, that panel right there, Casey, which I thought was just stellar.
Yeah.
So put them on the cover. Come on.
Right.
But anyway, what do you think of this one?
It's really stupid. Really stupid.
Yeah.
What about you, man? Did you like it?
I mean, I did like it. There was just like several parts where I'm like, this doesn't need to be in here at all. And some of the characters definitely do not feel themselves.
Like Batman.
Or Superman even.
Well, I mean, like at least Superman's trying to talk, but the fact of the matter is Batman, who has holy water and he uses it against Wonder Woman to burn her face way after the fact when no one else but Hawkgirl can see, is then like, hey, I'm gonna use these weapons to hurt you guys and weaken you because you might be a vampire, but I'm not gonna try this holy water trick on you. Nah, I'm gonna do this other stuff because I like to prove I can beat the Justice League up. Like it was just did not make any sense. whatsoever. I thought like Batman's not that stupid. James Tynion and Rosenberg both know how to write Batman. They know better. So it was just like bad plot writing, basically, you know.
My least favorite part of the bad plot writing is Green Arrow knows that Hal's a vampire.
Yeah.
His friend is lost. He could have ended it right then and there, but he missed his shot on purpose because it was Hal.
And then let's also bring this up. Cyborg, his flesh, right here. Everything else, robot. Batman's like, hey, look at this file I got. And so Cyborg's like, okay, well, check this out. Then he just fries him. Like, oh, okay, so you're looking very guilty.
Yep.
Versus the guy that literally has motor oil instead of blood. Like, get out of here.
Right. Plus, Cyborg could have read that in seconds and been like, hey guys, this is legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was a low point for the series.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where this series has more low points than high points for me. And like I'm probably not gonna pick up the next one. I really did not like this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5, but I definitely, it's not drop point yet. Like I still enjoyed this more than some others.
See, I was at a 4.5 until he said 5. So now I'm like, I have to lower this like the 3.5 then, just to, because I really did not like it at all. Like the art was good. That's what saved it. But other than that, I was just like, no, thank you.
Okay.
If we had Blade in the DC, they did that trade for Constantine, he'd take care of this dang problem from the start. Never would have got this bad.
That's true.
So Robin number 11. This is by Joshua Williamson with Gleb Melnikov on the art. And Gleb, this isn't me knock on him, but he does not make Grandma Al Ghul near as hot.
I know. Bring back Roger Cruz.
Right? But yeah, I mean we get a little bit of interesting stuff. Like a Shiva appearance happens. You know, I mean it's some pretty good, like this is the best Gleb fights. I'm gonna say that. That's just, you know, all there is to it in my opinion on that. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I don't like Damien seems a little bit personality wise a little bit off, but maybe it's just this is how what he's becoming, you know, being around these other kids and all this other type of stuff. Maybe this is his character growth. So like it's hard to kind of knock that with like actual stuff happening that's changing him. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. What'd you think?
I enjoyed it a lot. There's 2 takeaways. One, this is spoilers, folks. Robin and Flatline share a kiss. Finally, we've all been waiting for it. And also, to tie in with that, I like that he shared why he read the manga with her. Like that was like a personal thing for him, which he doesn't usually do. And the second one, Casey, is he's going to take some Lazarus resin and it looks like he's going to bring Alfred back.
Mm-hmm.
And I want that to happen.
I feel like it's not going to, but
maybe, but like of all the ways to bring him back, this is the one that I think works the best.
Yeah.
Rather than just like a crisis happens and like everyone comes back, like at least
Superman punches a hole in reality.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna bring it up, but you did. But yeah, I think it would be awesome. So we'll see if it does happen or not. I hope that it does.
Where you at with this one?
9. I really liked it.
Yeah, I'm at a 7.5. I like it, but I didn't really love it. I thought this is one thing I hate, and I bring this up all the time. Wear your mask. You have a secret identity. You're not Tom Holland Spider-Man. Put the mask on, and I don't care if you're with your honey. Put the mask on. Come on. But Yeah, I thought it still was good, but you know, it still didn't knock my socks right off.
I think it's just your lack of sleep. I thought that was a really exciting issue.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
I wouldn't,
bringing my vibe down.
and I also didn't like how Rach was really like at times he was like really Rach like with the writings, and other times it was just like like me, his horny grandfather. You know, it's just like okay, this is weird.
Nothing about that issue made me think, oh, Ross is a little horny.
Well, because like the part when they kiss and he's watching watching Flatline and Robin kiss, and then he's just like, I'll find it because he's saying next
he's
to
more like
Talia.
his father,
He
or
really
something
does
like
take
that.
after his father. Oh, after his father, doesn't he? He's like, haha, like his horny old dad.
That's just you being weird.
And then Talia's just like, oh, and then walks off. It's like, okay, that's. I don't think Ray should say that. He'd be more like,
It made me laugh though.
I mean, it did, but just like I said, it seemed out of character. And you were complaining about Raish being out of character, and it's like, kind of, yeah.
I mean, at least he's not like a meditating surfer bro like he was in issue 4.
See, that's what's weird. Like, it's he like in that one issue, he was like, oh, it seemed like he had changed a little bit, like, oh, getting his butt kicked, all this other stuff changed him, and then we're getting a new type of race. And then now, and then like right after that, they're like, I'm gonna back to murdering and stuff, like that type of thing. So like that was a bit odd that he, did a complete 180 on his character to the way he seemed in the other ones. But yeah,
right.
It's still solid though.
Okay, so now we've got Silk number 2, and that's written by Emily Kim with art by Takeshi Miyazawa. I loved this issue personally.
I really liked it. This is one thing that's kind of funny. I think you're gonna agree with me. I love that. I think Silk is the only character in comic books that can make Peter Parker look like he has his life together.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I really have no idea who her buddy was though that had the superpowers.
She's part of the like new agents of Atlas, like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was always interested in reading that because I do like Greg Pak, but I never did. So like I'm like, I don't know who this person is.
Dude, I didn't either, but after reading this, I was like, I think I'm gonna get that trade. So
yeah.
maybe you'll get a gift in the mail. and we can both read it and talk about it.
Yeah, right on, man. But yeah, so I think it's really cool. My only downside with like Silk, even though she does have the coolest costume, is just in like general, like, oh, I'm looking way too much into this as an adult and should just enjoy it like a kid, is like this guy that she was on a date with would be able to tell that his date's Silk, because it's like, this is it. Like, if I wear a mask and go to a store and I see someone I knew from high school, they say, hi, Casey. And I'm like, but I'm wearing a mask. Like, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. Also, I love when Luna's like, you want a shirt for your date? And she's like, my date.
Yeah. I also I love J. Jonah Jameson in this too. Like they do such a good job with him.
It's hilarious that he calls her analog.
Yeah.
So funny.
So yeah, I really like, it's so weird to me that we both love Silk so much
and have never read her before the last series.
Yeah, I mean, like the only time I read her was in the Dan Slott stuff, and oof.
Yeah, the only thing I remember from that is she really wanted Peter, like bad.
Yeah, well, because they had pheromones and they just boned when they were in the same vicinity of each other. It's like, okay, Dan, that's a bit odd.
Getting a little horny there, Dan.
Yeah. It's like, just like my father.
I'm going to give that a 10 though. Like, I really can't think of anything that I dislike so much to bring it down.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 9. I don't know why, but I'm at a 9.
Because you're cranky today.
I'm really not cranky though. I mean,
well, you're not loving anything, and I'm it's starting to rub off on me.
I love this.
Okay, good. At least we'll be on the same page for that.
I bet that's also one of the things. It's like, look at the comics that we read this week, and it's just like when we have something like, the next book that kind of like goes against all the other books that happened this week, where I'm like, I know I usually say, oh, this 10's different than this 10, but there's sometimes where it's like, this one's too good.
Right.
Okay, so next up, it's going to be Task Force Z issue 5. And with this has Matthew Rosenberg on the writing and Eddie Barrows and Eber Ferreira with Matt Santorelli and Jack Herbert on the art. Yeah, this was interesting. Lots of really cool splash pages, lots of really cool action. Story itself wasn't my favorite, but like, I mean, you can't be mad at a book that has zombies and like panels like this.
Yeah,
Like, that's too cool.
I agree.
Yeah, and you get Jake's next cosplay character, old Bloom, doing some crazy stuff still.
Dude, sometimes I think he looks like a normal guy, and then there's panels like this where he looks like Slender Man.
Yeah,
And I'm like, does he change size or is it just the artist?
I might just be the artist doing different stuff. I don't know.
I still
But
don't know what his powers are.
I really don't know either. I don't really remember, because like that was like the era of the Snyder run of stuff where I was like not too interested when I was reading it.
Same.
So
I just love that he's like convincing this doctor for a job at the lab, and he's like, I brought someone that can replicate it, and just holds up a severed man bat head. Like,
yeah,
this book is hilarious and I love it.
it is. Now, did you read Joker, by the way? This is like, I don't want to do any Joker spoilers if you haven't, but have you read the newest issue of Joker yet?
I totally forgot that it was a thing. So no, I
Okay.
haven't.
You need to, and then we'll talk probably off air about it. But yeah, because there were some tweets going around about Matthew Rosenberg and how he's writing both Joker and Task Force Z, and it was funny.
Okay. I really do
But
need to read that, especially after how much you liked that last issue.
yeah, I mean half of it. But but what would you rate this, man?
It's a 9 for me. I love this book way more than I should.
Yeah, it's an 8, but because it's this is just like the epitome of a fun book. The story itself, it's not really doing it that much for me story wise. Like, I'm not like overly invested, but it's just like, if you want a book that you're gonna be reading and having a great time, yeah, this is it.
Mm-hmm. All right, next we've got Action Comics 1040, and I just want to show the variant that I picked up because it was too cool not to get.
Okay, that's awesome.
Right?
Wow.
But yeah, so let me find the credits page, which I should have had up long before this, which makes really, really good podcasting. But anyway, it's written by Philip Kennedy Johnson with art by Riccardo Federici. Thank goodness, because my God, can that man write or draw a comic book? It's so good. But Casey, give me your thoughts.
I absolutely loved it. I mean, there's really like the only downside to this series so far is like I want it all in a trade to be reading it, because like I want to know what happens next. Like, I'm so invested. I'm like so interested. I'm loving it so much. Superman's written like this is like at its worst. If someone was to dislike it so much, they think this is such a stupid setting, which I don't. But if someone did, it's like it's still getting the character 100% right, and I love that for it. And then I also think Gladiator setting is awesome, so that too. What about you, man?
No, I thought it was fantastic. I like that some of these others are like starting to trust him now and see that he's a Superman, and the art is ridiculous. I also want it to be wrapped up in a trade so that I can literally push it on everybody that comes into the store and be like, no, this is like the best thing you're gonna read. Please check it out.
And
So
then
yeah,
did you like the Sean Aldridge and Adreno Mello Marsh Manhunter story still?
I did. I thought it was really good. I mean, it's goofy, but it's still good.
I mean, okay, honestly, outside of like the Justice League stuff, isn't Marsh like the Justice League, cartoon stuff? Isn't Marsh Manhunter just better with a goofy story because he's such a serious character? I mean,
Yes.
honestly. So I
He
think
should
that worked.
he should be petting his cat and eating Oreos.
Yes. And like when he turned his stomach into a cage to put his cat in, that was great.
I know.
But yeah, no, I absolutely loved that story too. And it's such a weird combo with like the very heavy, the very serious, and the art is even very serious in it too. Story of, like Superman on War World. And then you have Martian Manhunter petting his cat after a long day. And then they both work, it's just good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, this one, 10 out of 10, no debate.
Same.
If you guys have ever like wanted to read a Superman book but didn't know where to start, I'm not saying it's the best starting place, but you'll understand who Superman is very quickly, and you're going to love the art, guaranteed.
Yeah, for sure. So lastly, we got Saga by Fiona Staples and Brian K. Vaughan. What were your thoughts on this, man?
I thought it was pretty neat. I liked like the little alligator footman that's working for the robots. And then I also like the funny little frog man who's with the other group.
Yeah.
Brian K. Vaughan does minor characters very, very well. The end terrified me.
Yep. That's the thing. This is like last issue. I liked the last issue. As I said, it wasn't perfect for me. This one's like the most Saga-y issue we've had since like the issue where, spoiler alert, Marco died. It's one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, this is Saga. Where like the last one was like just kind of like bringing us back into this world. This one's just like, oh yeah, here we are. This is the terribleness that we had before.
Yep.
And the art in it is Fiona Staples art, so it is amazing. You can't really hate that stuff. Yeah, it's just really good stuff, man.
It is. My favorite quote of the whole book is from Frogman when they get called out for their albums being copies, and the frog says, yeah, we're 2-bit bootleggers and a shitty band.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious, dude.
Yeah, I did too. And I'm leaving that in because you're quoting. I don't feel like yeah, whatever.
Yeah, can't wait for the next one to see just what the heck happened after that cliffhanger. Obviously not what he says is going to happen, but
let's hope not.
Otherwise I might change my opinion on Brian K. Vaughan a little bit.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it's an easy 10 for me. It's just, this was really good, and it was just like, oh yeah, this, like I said, this is Saga.
I am also out of 10. I miss the book so much. Very glad that it's back.
Yeah. So what books are you excited for next week, my man?
I'm going to be kind of basic. I'm going to say Batman, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk, because those are some of my favorite series right now.
Nice. I'm going to go with Strange. I am pretty excited about that. I'm really, like, yeah, let's see what happens here. One Star Squadron. It's one of my favorite books out right now. It's so goofy. It should be a good time. And then I am going to say Daredevil, Woman Without Fear, because, it's awesome. Now, is Cowboy Bebop, is that a TMNT book where Bebop and Rocksteady broke up and Bebop became a cowboy, or is it something different?
No, it is about the anime that you and I both love dearly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dude, I remember, do you guys still have that dope Bebop poster up in your house?
Yeah.
Even like long before I'd watched the show, I was like, man, that's a cool poster.
Yeah. That was a Suncoast Days stuff, man.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Well, Fantastic Four time, buddy. So with the announcement of Zdarsky and Jorge Menez on Batman, I was thinking to myself, and like everyone was happy about it. Like that's the thing. Like no one was like, "Oh man, these two very talented people are working together on like everyone's favorite book. Oh, I hate this." Like no one was really upset that I saw it, and I was on Twitter, which people are mad about getting free money. So I was thinking, like, what are four creative teams that you want to see? The catch is they like have to have never done, like been a team before.
Sure. This was easy for me after I thought about it for 30
Yeah.
seconds. The first one is Chuck Dixon and Kenneth Rocafort on a Nightwing book. Mostly I'm going with writers that have done these characters before, but with the artists I would really want with them.
Okay.
The next one would be Walt Simonson and Olivier Coipel on Thor.
I would not have pronounced his name right.
Oh, I have heard him say it before, so that's how I know.
It's like Oliver Coipel.
he's French, so
Yeah.
Then James Robinson and Jorge Jimenez on a Justice Society book. And then probably my favorite after thinking about it and writing it down would be a Matt Wagner and Chris Samney Sandman book. And I'm talking
Right
Sandman Mystery Theater, not the Neil Gaiman one.
Yeah. Okay. And then my choices. So I was thinking, I went out there. I kind of did like completely different stuff. So like Maureen Gu and Milo, or it's Giannis Milo no Giannis on Alpha Flight, and I butchered his name, but I thought that would be awesome. And plus, like Maureen Gu writing Alpha Flight would just be the bomb. And then I was like wanting to bring Dan Abnett, Andy Lanning back together, even though they supposedly hate each other, but bring those two back together to team up with Fiona Staples for a Green Lantern Corps book. Like, how would that not be amazing? Because we know Fiona can do sci-fi really well. They can do sci-fi really well. It just seems like a match. Gene Luen Yang and Marco Cicchetto on Batman. How is that? Yeah, that would be amazing.
Agreed.
It's just like
I really want to see his Batman.
Yeah. And then Ed Brubaker and Francisco Francavilla on The Flash. I just would like completely do a different type of Flash. Have it be Barry. Have it be crime heavy instead of Speed Force heavy. Have it be like a moderately horror crime heavy book with them trying to, like a 6-issue series. I think that'd be really cool, especially with being Flash and crime.
Right. I'd be all about that. Okay, so now I want us each to pick one favorite from the others that you would want to see the most.
Okay. I'm going to say for yours, probably James Robinson, Jorge Jimenez on JSA.
Yeah.
Because I miss old Jamie boy.
Right. Me too. Yours are tough because I would want to see any of them. But I'll do your Green Lantern Corps book. Those three together is just too perfect.
Right. So I was like, I knew I wanted Fiona, and I was like trying to think of like a really good, like sci-fi where I was like, oh, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
And hey, if you're listening, let us know which ones were your favorites from ours, and then also what's a dream team that you could make that haven't worked together before.
Yes, you're absolute. If you could pick one creative team to do one series, what would it be?
Like, I think like this guy, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. I think that'd be a pretty good team. They'd probably do something cool together.
Like Fantastic Four or something?
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the episode.
Yeah, it does.
So All right, guys, closing plugs. If you would, please go to facebook.com/2worldspodcast and give the page a like. You can also follow us on Twitter at 2_worlds_PC and on Instagram at 2worldspod. You can email us at 2worldspodcast@gmail.com. And if you would, review us 5 stars wherever you're listening to this. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's just 2worlds Podcast on YouTube.
And leave us a comment on the said YouTube. Say, Jake's hair looks nice today. He puts a lot of work into it. And tell us a fun poop story on our YouTube comments. That'd be fun. But we'd love to stay in chat, but we gotta wake up early and feed people, I guess, because we're bacon and eggs. Bye, guys.
Bye.